Hello, Speed Gaming 3. Welcome to our first lower bracket race between JDSilvergun and prdwong. This is a double elimination tournament between two people in the lower bracket. This is also their first race, so after this there will still be more to see from them. I am joined by Twin. How are you doing?
I'm doing good tonight, Malmo. Thanks for asking me to join you on these comps tonight.
Pleasure as always. Looks like we have some fun sprite actions going on. So JD's sprite is... The good thing is they use that sprite all the time and they know the cues. I don't know the cues of that sprite because it's very tall and wears big boots. prdwong, you know, let's just say he's playing catch up.
Where's the pun tax? Because I think we're going to need that a lot tonight.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about these two runners is we have somebody who's very new and one person who's very old, and both of them think they're going to lose. I think they're both going to surprise themselves because one of them has to win. And we have a compass to Desert Palace in Link's house.
And again, we're seeing the same openers. Very interesting. We've seen it a lot in this race to, check the island, do hobo, or do hobo and then something similar. But yeah, it's really interesting with all the choices that they choose to do this first.
And I might be mistaken about this, but I want to say that prdwong is actually the one who originally posted the video showing how to do this clip to hobo. And he has a mushroom for us. Mushroom is potentially useful later. This early in the game, we might just see it turned in. Because it's not really useful unless you get very specific other items and are also missing certain other items.
So once they get into hobo, they can't just set up the fake flipper to go back out? Am I mistaken?
They can. They chose not to. I'm guessing as prdwong is not really updated on the technology. JD definitely knows it and just chose not to do it. They definitely know how to do the swim clipping that you do out of hobo. Oh, we get relish on prdwong's side. Time for a new pun.
I relish the thought.
Thank you.
That's all I could come up with. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm sure we can muster up another one when he gets another mail. Alright, prdwong going to turn in his mushroom.
JD is trying to clip into this thing here. Is he trying to get like a funny auto swim thing to maybe do a, oh, he's getting the island. Okay.
Yeah, it's a map. Maps are actually useful. So, JD will know what their eastern palace is. And prdwong just decided that's not quite worth clipping to. So, that might be an advantage. Might not be. There are other ways to get pendant crystal info, including just getting the pendant and crystal. So, we'll see.
prdwong picked up a key for Ice Palace from the mushroom turn-in. I'm not sure how important Ice Palace keys are, because I know you can do it in a cave state.
Ice Palace keys are convenient. You want like one just to make the routing cleaner, but it's not crucial. You can even steal one in the lobby if you really needed one. But prdwong wouldn't reset that because he got gloves and back of escape. I don't think unless he really hates having armor, I don't see him resetting gloves away.
Back of escape or back of Saha's closet?
Did I say back of escape? Oh, well, maybe we'll see back of escape next time because we have the gloves.
It's okay.
Gloves and back of escape would be quite a spicy play, and there are ways to get in there with swim clipping, but neither of them will have to do that because they have both visited Saw's closet. They are following each other so closely, and there is a sword here.
Sword is very nice. I don't know. I don't think it helps. Well, it might help set up some clips because of like sparkles.
Sword is just good for clipping, like overworld clipping. It's so convenient. You can dash through enemies, you can do spin speed clips, or just have spin speed for speed. Later on, we might be seeing sword used for some more advanced glitches. One of the common ones being potion glitches in doorways, and we call them YBAs or Easy Horror's Bottle Adventure. You can extend them with the sword spin in certain cases to get a little extra distance, to move forward an extra room. And those are often used to get to bosses.
Okay, this is rather eerie that they are still this synced up.
They are neck and neck here. Like, this is crazy. JD has actually done an additional check too. I wonder where the lead came from. What has prdwong done? I'm guessing prdwong has turned into mushroom. Yes, that's it.
They turned in the mushroom. But I would have expected, you know, they were right there at the Boots Rock, or yeah, the Bonk Rocks. So going to a DMA would be really easy from right there. I'm surprised one of them didn't do that.
I think JD will do it here. When you are routing Lost Woods this way, one of the things you can do is go to the top of the screen and do a different clip of the mountain. There are people who like to do the mountain top down and people who like to do it bottom up. And I think JD is a top down person. Also, I'm wrong. We're not seeing that at all. We're seeing. Are they gonna go the vanilla way? Is that illegal? No, they're gonna clip. They have the gloves. They're right next to the rock, and they're gonna clip up the mountain. Let's go. We also get a lumberjack check from JD as prdwong chooses to fork off into Kakariko Village. So they were there just for the poultry, but they got rewarded with bombs, which is a really nice thing to have early and very easy to run out of, considering how many glitches use them.
Oh yeah, we've seen many runners either run out or go to the Wishing Fairy or the Pond of Good Luck or whatever it's called to buy upgrades.
So I have a game that I'm playing is to see how many bomb upgrades a runner is willing to buy in a seed. And the most I have seen is bombs capacity going all the way up to 25. And I see those people still run out of bombs because of how much you use them.
Yeah, bombs are pretty strong in glitched modes, for sure.
Nothing exciting for prdwong so far in the density in Kakariko Village. So there are a few more checks here on the way down to desert.
Yeah, I don't think JD has found anything either up here on the mountain.
Yeah, they haven't really been in dense locations yet, but there are plenty to be had in East Death Mountain. They could go down to South Shore after rescuing the old man. prdwong choosing to buy bombs, not the upgrade, just the refill.
Alright, here goes JD to rescue the old man. We'll see what he has for us today.
If there's one dark room every glitch player knows, it's this one. Like, you almost never have the lamp in this room. You're lucky to have the lamp at all in No Logic.
I feel like this is a room that most just rando players in general know this one. One, because it's fairly easy. There aren't really a lot of enemies to really hurt you. And you do get an item out of it, so...
prdwong finds powder and can actually turn this in now. He has just enough magic to use it, which is lucky. He got that magic from a guard at the very beginning of the game. And
Does he?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, does he have magic or hammer? But I forget. This is glitched.
Yeah.
You just clip in here and
wrap the screen a little bit, and now you're in the water, and you just drop down, and magic bat's here. It's nice. So nothing from the powder, but the powder is still good to have for setting some variables that might be useful for glitches later. But those glitches also require a whole bunch of other items, especially the hookshot. So that's something, a thought that we'll put on the shelf for now. But it is good to know that powder is available. I don't know if prdwong is practiced in, oh look, we have a hookshot. I don't know how proficient prdwong is in hook pushing, but I guess I should talk about it now because we can almost do it. So hook pushing is a glitch you can use to change the direction the hook shot pushes you, or to store its use and activate it when you're in a different part of the room. prdwong is going for this mirror using a maze race steel technology, but the inputs are very specific, and he remembers it. That's good, and he remembers the step that doesn't soft lock him. So now he has the mirror. Very nice find. This is a good seed so far.
Much better than the last one I helped calm. So the mirror is nice because it can replace a bottle and we can do some door shenanigans. And the hook is nice because it's the hook shot. I mean, it's one of the most broken things in glitched randos. From what I hear.
Yeah, it definitely is. It used to be the cane. Cane and bottles are a standard of no logic. Bottles are very powerful. You almost always get them early because there's 4 of them. The cane is rare, but when you get it, there's so much you can do with it. The hook shot, we have discovered so many different ways to hook push that don't even require all the items. You just have to have like a certain combination of them, and it doesn't have to be like specific one. So it became a lot more powerful just in the last few months. All right, prdwong's going for a quadrant glitch. This is one of the glitches you can do with actually nothing. Oh my god, we have a lamp! Okay.
The seed is free.
The seed's free. prdwong has done a glitch to desync the basically what part of the room the game thinks he's in, so that when he does a transition, it puts him in the wrong place. And now he's here, and we can see what he's getting, which is excellent because that's not always the case.
I don't know if you noticed, but JD also got the fire rod in Paradox Cave.
Dual fire sources. This mode does have an extra fire rod and an extra ice rod in the pool for a couple of reasons. So, it's not too surprising to see the fire rod early, but it is nice to have, because sometimes even with 2 of them, you still don't find them. Quake medallion for purity at K45.
With this, the glitched no logic rule set, we should only need. We don't even need it, but 1 medallion is usually enough. Just the one to open Mire. There are shenanigans that the runners can do to change the dungeon ID, but they are a pain to do. So it's usually just easier to find the medallion.
They're a pain. A little bit better when you have the hook pushing ability, which, by the way, JD can totally hook push now. I think the only thing limiting them is how much stuff they can put on the ground. Because to hook push, you have to basically create a bunch of ancilla, which are the items that Link generates. Normally, you'd be using things like bow and cane, because those are they last a little bit longer. But the fire rod shot will last a little bit as well. We would want, I think, one more thing before we can actually properly mis-slot things to make a hook push work.
Do bombs not work for that?
Bombs are 2 items. You need to fill 5 slots.
Gotcha.
For stuck pushing, you would fill 4 slots, and if one of them would be... Sorry, you'd fill 5 slots. So yeah, you would need something that you can create 3 of. Oh my god, we find the bow here. Like, what the heck? I keep saying, oh, they can't do this yet because they don't have this item. And then JD just goes and finds it. So, okay, now we can fire 3 arrows in a wall and put 2 bombs on the ground and make the hook shot go a couple times. And one of them will go into a bad slot because there's nowhere else for it to go. But, you know, your sword is out and it says, well, I can replace one of those sparkles. No, I'm just going to do that. And now you have a hook shot stuck and you can use it in another part of the room.
Have we seen the graveyard ledge yet? I don't remember if, I think PRD did it.
I don't think Purity's been up the mountain yet.
Oh no, they haven't. How did they get... Oh, they jumped off the ledge a whole bunch because they checked, Houlihan. Or they got Houlihan.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Purity Wong did Houlihan with... Maybe he did do the mountain. But if you saw him jumping off the ledge, that's like the no glitches way of doing it. We have a blue boomerang! I'm excited. Blue boomerang's really good when you have hook pushing. Because you can set a variable that makes you go really far up when you have the blue boomerang. So you're not just moving the hook shot's distance, but now you're moving an extremely long distance going up. And while it is only one direction, there are a couple places where it's really good to have that ability. For example, you can cross the Trinex gap that way. You can go all the way from the bottom of the big, the big chest eastern room to the top of it. And straight into the next room, skipping the big key. So there's a lot you can do with that item set that JD is about to have when they pick up their blue boomerang.
Meanwhile, PRD just used a bomb juke in that doorway of Mini Moldworm Cave to go and check the King's Tomb item.
Correct. So that's a check that we normally do from the mountain in like overworld glitches modes, or we do it with the mirror or the mitts in no glitches. But in no logic, the typical way to get there is to bomb juke in Mini Moldworm Cave. And what's cool is you can exit, and you're still at Mini Moldworm Cave because that kind of room doesn't update your camera, and you can continue on your route. It's interesting to see JD going south to north. This is a route that not a whole lot of people do. Okay. JD is very lucky that that was a funny auto walk thing and not a hard lock. But they also did the correct thing of when something goes wrong when you're doing a glitch, just save and quit. Try again.
There's another bow in Waterfall
bow.
Ferry.
That's insane.
This seed is so much different than the last one I did.
Yeah, the last seed that you calmed, I was on tracking for that one. They didn't get anything. It was the worst seed in the world. And this seed, it's 16 minutes in and we have hook pushing, which is supposed to be a late game ability. Like its power would be way too strong if we always got it 16 minutes in. prdwong is deciding whether that key is worth 500 rupees, but the problem is that he can't hard reset because he got so much stuff here. And apparently he wants the ledge item as well, so he lost his water walk doing that. But he decided he can still splash delete. And that's interesting, because you don't see this splash delete very often in glitch modes.
Ledge item was book, which it is hard required for 2 checks.
That's true. It's one of the few actual hard requirements in the game. So if it's walking rods, then like what if ice rod is on both tablets? Then you need that book. If Trinex is a crystal.
Okay, so where's PRD going now? We see JD in Desert. Probably... Oh, are they gonna hook push? I don't know where this is going. Memo, help me.
Just Thieves Town. We're going to Thieves Town Attic. And prdwong is climbing the mountain the other way. The old man cave. JD is got a grip change. That's probably why they accidentally did the map there. Because you do kind of play the controller like a piano when you're doing this. You're just pressing so many face buttons at a time. It's easier to do it that way.
I don't know that I've seen this hook push before. Or stuck push, I'm sorry.
Well, the cool thing about like saying like this stuck push is this kind of stuck push that JD is using, it's very predictable in its effect. It will always just like move you that distance that the hook shot appears to. The distance that you see in the hook shot, that's how far you will move when you're doing this setup. And if you look at the map of the underworld and all the rooms that are like next to each other on a big grid, you can predict where those hook pushes are going to take you, and that's how people figure this stuff out. A lot of these glitches are just doing the same glitch in different locations.
So, although it looks like JD is in Thieves Town, he's still actually in Desert, correct?
That's correct. If they were to take blind to the blind fight, they would get the desert crystal or pendant. But what they're doing here is, oh my goodness. I'll talk about what prdwong found in a second, but what they're doing here is they are just bombing the attic so that when they do a different route through Thieves Town, usually from a cave, they can just unlock the door and grab the maiden and go straight to the fight. And that's so much more efficient. prdwong checked the tablet and found the Cane of Samaria. He can't get it yet because he doesn't have a Master Sword, but that is the other really powerful item. Like, this is a seed you can beat without bottles.
And we need to get Master Sword anyway, so that's like a free... almost a free pickup once you get that second sword, right?
Yeah. It's going to be the first thing you do when you get that sword. Like, you're going to get that cane because the cane is so good. Especially when prdwong gets his hook shot. If he knows hook pushing the older way using the Cane of Samaria, which still has uses even when you have stuck pushing available, the Samaria is really good for those. You would need them. JD setting up this quadrant glitch needs to take another shot at it. So it's a good thing that they didn't go down to 1 heart. They don't need to, they have the mirror. But it's easy to like forget that you have that. Yeah, this seed is making my head spin. And it's probably making our tracker's head spin too. Give a shout out to other Tom who is tracking this race, and thankfully we saw what these items are that JD's about to get, but invisible items are a very common problem in No Logic tracking. Sometimes you have to just like guess what they have, watch their quick swap, watch what they do, look at their like stream trackers if you can. So I'm not sure if how prdwong's hook pushing is. And is he going to be happy or terrified when he finds this stuff? Because if you're going against a player who you know is up to date on the newest tech, you might not want to see the newest tech show up.
Especially where you don't have the bottles to do the... what I'm assuming is the older tech that that they might be more familiar with.
Yeah, prdwong actually like made a big document of like, here's some things to do when you're stuck in a multi-world, and most of them are bottle glitches. So he knows them, like he knows the bottle glitches. He's very comfortable on these bottle go modes that most people in the modern racing scene hate to get. That's the kind of seed prdwong is probably hoping to have, but that's not what we're getting. We're getting a hook pushing seed. This is the year of the Lord 2022. Oh, what are we? What is this sprite?
It's mustard.
So then what's the red mail?
I don't know. Could it be mayo, maybe?
I just assumed the red mail would be mustard.
Unless it's like somehow another red bottle like sriracha sauce or something.
It could be like that purple. Do you remember purple ketchup? Like it was a gimmick in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
purple
and
ketchup.
like
They had green ketchup too, didn't they?
and it's like really unappetizing because your brain is just hardwired to not want to eat foods that are blue. JD is faced with the paralysis of choice because they have hook pushing and have just started the game.
I'm a little sad because they have the mirror and they didn't do Blockbuster.
They didn't do Blockbuster. I'm gonna say prdwong probably doesn't know it. And JD probably doesn't know it either. Like, most people don't because it's stupid. Don't tell Tam I said that. Oh shoot, Fox is here. I take that back. It's amazing.
Oh, I didn't even see PRD set up this mirror clip for the
Oh yeah.
Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, so he like jumped off a mountain a bunch of times, wrapping the screen enough times that when he places his portal, it goes to the middle of the screen. And now he can enter it and be in here instead. This is a great way to get to this part of the Dark World and the escape together.
There is the swimming clip to get to this spot, but you do have to have Moon Pearl for that one. I learned that the other day.
Yeah, you can't even
Somebody
fake
tried
it.
to do it, and they couldn't do it.
Yep, you need Moon Pearl for the same reason you need it for Water Walk in Waterfall Cave if you're coming in from a fake flipper. It's how you get the Water Walk. It's not about being Link. Although you probably want to be Link too. So JD setting up a mirror wrap. This is going to get them to East Death Mountain. It's one of several ways to get there, actually. Like, there's 3 methods just using the mirror, and this is one of them.
Okay, as a big Final Fantasy VI fan, I really, really like that bunny sprite.
Oh yeah, Opera Celeste is really good. I love the sprite. I can't play as it because of the clipping cues are all wrong, but
oh yeah, I understand that one.
It's a good sprite. I think the last time I played as it, I was really new to the game, and I had just learned Ice Palace Bomb Jump, and I discovered I couldn't do IPPJ with this sprite because it covered the shadow. And JD, it might be in Go mode because they just found a sword in Super Bunny Cave.
They need to get that book off of Zora Ledge first.
They want it. Yeah, maybe they can't get by on just stuck pushing, but the Cane of Samaria would be really good. The knowledge of Turtle Rock being a pendant or a crystal would be good. We already have 2 pendant knowledges. We have JD knowing that the Eastern Palace is a pendant. prdwong doesn't know that because he didn't pick up the map that was on Hylia Island. And then Swamp Palaces are green. So it's a little bit unlikely that we can skip the Ice Rod in this seed. Meanwhile, prdwong going through the escape. One of the things that the escape gets you is the big key of Hyrule Castle. And the big key of Hyrule Castle is one of the big keys that the game checks when you're inside of a cave to see if you can open big key doors and big chests. Like JD is in here right now in a cave and has just clipped a pod from the cave and is still technically in a cave. So what's going to happen is they're going to reach the big chest or well, they're not going to reach the big key door, but they'll reach the big chest and not be able to open it unless they find one of those cave keys here.
Which, those cave keys, it's the Hyrule Castle big key, the Thieves Town big key, the Pod big key. Is it the Pod big key?
Yeah.
And then there's one other one. Is it Hera?
I don't remember. Thieves Town, Hyrule Castle, Pod, and Ganon's Tower.
Ganon's Tower. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen any of those yet.
I don't think we're actually in Go mode yet. People in chat are also pointing out that Misery Mire normally requires a bottle Wrong Warp to do without a medallion. JD has 2 medallions, so I'm optimistic about Mire. Also, like when we talk about Go mode and no logic, there's a difference between being in Go mode and Go moding. Players will usually be in Go mode well before they actually start Go moding because there are usually things you can find that will make the game easy enough to make those extra checks worth it. Like this tempered sword that JD just found. And prdwong will be finding soon as well because he is hot on JD's heels. Oh, we have Ice Rod. And prdwong found it in Zelda's Cell.
Oh, how very nice and convenient.
Very nice. Yeah, and terrifying for prdwong because now he has to start thinking about Go mode for somebody who can hook push, right? I know that when prdwong was playing against me, he wasn't using the hook pushes in this seed where we got them, but I think it was because we didn't have Lamp. And maybe if he has Lamp, he'll be able to whip them out.
Half Magic is convenient because with the hook pushes, you usually do spam Lamp a whole lot. or fire rod or the Samaria.
That's true.
So half magic is a very nice convenience item.
The resource management is a huge theme in No Logic. You need everything that's like on your HUD matters. Like you need to have even health matters, not because you're gonna die, but like you can have too much health and have trouble death warping in seeds where you have to do that a lot. You need a certain amount of health to like. There's a lot of damage boost stuff you do, so you need to make sure you don't run out there. For example, JD is doing this statue drag glitch that they have stored a statue dragging state and they have to bomb themselves out of it so they can use it again. And they're going to juke through a couple doors to unlock their camera a little bit, and then that's going to let them transition south, skip a few rooms, and go to Helmasaur.
I don't think JD checked the back. Like
JD is
the
like,
basement or anything.
Yeah, well, one thing that JD is lacking is that cave state big key, so maybe they're thinking, I'll come back later. I'm close enough to go mode that I can probably skip it for now. And here's Helmasaur. We see him pop in, like, just his tail, and now he's wrapping the screen. The cool thing about keeping Helmasaur off screen here is because those fireballs will despawn when they're off screen. You're a little bit safer this way, even if you can't see as well.
I did not know that. That's very convenient. Those fireballs are the worst.
Yeah, they don't like being off screen at all. It's something you might be familiar with in, like, if you play Randomizer as well. If you see Helmasaur in, like, Tower of Hera, you can just be on the different quadrant and the fireballs just won't be there. And there's a very nice fight from JD.
I missed what was in Big Chest. I don't think it was anything. Maybe Red Boom? I see Red Boom.
Red Boom's actually decent. Like, it's not the end of the world for JD to miss that, but it's just nice to have. Like, given that they have the Blue Boom available to them if they decide to do South Shore, I'm not too worried about missing that. If they really need the Boomerang, they won't be in Go mode and they'll probably do South Shore. But it is interesting to see, like, I don't know if there's any reason for them to go all the way to Zora in this seed. So they might not get that Cane of Samaria. And then they have to get the book and check the tablet. Like, that's a whole extra step that prdwong has already done. Oh, it wasn't the Red Boom. Okay. Maybe that was the escape.
Oops.
That's okay. I'm doing the same thing, looking at the tracker, relying very heavily on our tracker.
Shoutouts again to other Tom. Thank you.
Yes, we can't do this without trackers. Like, that's the one thing that we've had restreams without commentators. We always need a tracker.
Yeah, there's just so much going on. I can't imagine trying to track 2 games at once. It's hard enough for me to talk and watch 2 games, let alone remember where everything was and marking things.
So JD is in Eastern and knows that it's a pendant, which is probably why they're not, like, too concerned about whether they can actually reach the boss, which they can't right now. The blue boomerang would allow it, or even the red one, but I don't think they care, so we just won't be seeing Eastern from JD. And we probably won't see Armos Knights from PRD either, for a different reason. Well, okay, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe prdwong has learned the pushing, and prdwong doesn't know it's a pendant, so he might actually go for it. Oh, that's a good point. Chex is pointing out that you can get to Misery Mire from here, in this room that JD is in right now, and this is exactly what we're going to see. Another stuck push to go to Misery Mire, allowing JD to check the medallion. And also check the Mire Shed, maybe the interior of Mire if they decide to. Oh, something went wrong there. Alright, where are they going? Wong is thinking. It's going to say no to Eastern. Okay, I think JD is having trouble because there's beams, sword beams. So
That's why he took damage. I'm like, why did he take damage? He's not doing a YBA.
I forgot
I
that
was
sword
really
beams
confused.
can interfere with these because they'll put a bunch of Ancilla on screen. There we go. Yeah, because it looked like they did it right, and it just didn't work. And now I can see that it was probably the beams. Very nicely done. They're quite practiced at these now. Like, oh my god, it's Ether! It's the medallion they don't have, of course. Why wouldn't it be?
The one thing in this seed that isn't ideal.
Alright, prdwong climbing Hera, probably going to be getting his Cane of Samaria after this.
So,
you know.
JD's in fake Dark World, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's because they never went to the Dark World to begin with. The only person who's actually been to the Dark World is prdwong, and he did that to set up the portal. Oh, I'm wrong, actually. JD went to East Death Mountain with that mirror wrap. So it's surprising that neither of them has any pendant info in the Dark World. Oh, prdwong's getting absolutely bullied in here. I don't know what he was. I don't know what he was supposed to do there. Moldorm just charged him twice. He's supposed to only charge you once. All right, where are we going? Are we going to do some bunny walking? I think we are. This is a really interesting way to route Dark World. Exiting Mire, so you could do this mirror wrap here that takes you to the Stumpy screen. And when you get the item from Stumpy, it puts you in Super Bunny, which you can then use to pull a tree and become Link temporarily.
The closest pulled tree is actually a statue in the, like, just south of Hype Cave, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where people are usually going. If you want to be a little safer, you can go to the one near Swamp. A hopper navigation. That's prdwong's third Moldorm fall. That's unfortunate. Sometimes the hardest part of no logic is Moldorm, or just like the normal NNG stuff. Because you're spending the whole time thinking about what crazy glitches you're going to do next. But you still have to play the game, and that's hard to do. Like, the game doesn't get easier just because you're playing no logic.
There's so much more you need to know about the game to play no logic. My brain has been, like, stretched to the max learning just to do commentary, let alone remembering, like, how to do all these things. So, big shout outs to the runners for knowing all these things.
Yeah, speaking of knowing things, I have no idea what JD got from Stumpy.
Me neither. I was watching the Moldorm fight.
No, it was invisible. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what they got.
Oh, good. I have an excuse then.
Yeah, the important thing they got was the Super Bunny stay. And here's Cane for prdwong that we might not be seeing at all from JD. Now JD can do, they can do just like Hype Cave now and sacrifice their Link state immediately, or they can do around the world navigation and do Stumpy. Or they already did Stumpy. I don't know if I would do this just for dig game. Actually. This is maybe not something, when you're this close to go mode, you would want to do. But it is a check that you will be orphaning forever if you don't do it now.
What could JD be hoping for with this check?
Moon Pearl's nice.
Moon Pearl and Ice Rod.
The problem is, there's only so many places where you can get this, Link state without a bottle, so JD has already used up one of them. The other one is at Bumper Ledge. So a bottle would be very valuable. But every other Dark World check is pretty much going to have to be done either as a bunny or in Fake Dark World. And there's only a limited number of places where you can be in Fake Dark World. I wonder if JD is doing that thing that I do sometimes, where you, menu to shovel to do dig game. It just feels right, you know? You have the shovel. You got a menu to it.
Understandable.
Right,
I guess they could still be looking for the Ether Medallion too, where we don't know if Mire is a pendant or a crystal.
Yeah, and maybe they're going up. Because there's no bottle, they don't really have a good way to get into Thieves Town. You do want to be on the third bump for this one. prdwong has clipped into Ganon's tower. in the meantime. He can do right side, so I can see why he's doing this. He also has one small key to work with. There's a couple of glitches you can do, especially with the cane, that get you the Stalfos room. But I don't know if he has enough small keys to do more than that. Never mind.
Yeah, JD can't really check anything here unless he wants to get rid of this Super Bunny state.
Yeah, which they're going to do right now. So this is the end of their route here. If they're going to do Bumper Ledge item, it's going to be on the way to Skull Woods in a similar like bunny clip that prdwong just did. So it doesn't need to be done with this link state. Big Key of Turtle Rock, which would be really good for prdwong because he has the cane. And now if he has both, he can just go to Trinex. And JD would have to do a glitch. But JD has stuck pushing, so he'll be fine too. A map of Pod, which is a little too late. Oh, we're in Kakariko. When did we didn't notice the mirror. I was like, wait, this is brewery. This is not brewery. This is the other side of brewery. The back door. This is where brewery sells their drinks to. I didn't realize that JD hadn't been here yet, but I think we know there's really nothing worthwhile in the Kakariko village. Tam would be very happy with the seed.
Yeah, I don't think prdwong found anything here of interest.
Yeah, there was powder, but now that we have the lamp, the powder doesn't matter. Map of Swamp, which also too little too late. We already know that one. Hammer for prdwong in right side of Cannon Tower.
Convenience item.
It is a convenience item.
We don't necessarily need it, but it is nice to have for sure.
If JD doesn't find that hammer, they're going to need a bottle to do Cold Stare. And realistically, they're probably going to need 2 bottles or a glove to get in the first place. Or rather, to get in and then do Cold Stare.
Okay, yeah. They could mirror wrap, couldn't they?
Sure, you can do it as a bunny. I think if you do
bunny.
some like...
Grosso.
You can clip on top of mirror portals so you're not one frame clipping. And that's something that JD could do. But it's not something you want to do. It's slow to even get there as a bunny. Oh, JD can just hook push literally in this room that they're in to get to ice. What am I saying? Hook pushing exists sometimes, and you can do so much with it. Yeah, this Kakariko well back room has a secret passage to Ice Palace. And you can use a bottle, but you can also just hook push up. Alright, what's in Ice Armos for prdwong? We have a cape, we have a rupee, and a rupee. It's nice being able to see those items. Now he can do the other side with the hammer. He has to be careful with his keys. I think he can get one from the pot and be okay and be able to do the whole basement. Yeah, okay, we're actually fine. There's our bottle. Red potion for prdwong in Stalfos room. Ganon's Tower has the goods. JD, to get these, would either have to bomb juke that or find the book and the cane. So we'll see how much go moding JD does, but I think JD is still enough not in go mode to... What is this YBA prdwong is doing? What is this? Oh no. We're refilling chests? I don't see why else you would do a YBA.
Could it be leave the bottle? Was the bottle in those chests?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would dupe the bottle, wouldn't it? Yeah,
I'm guessing. I have no idea.
That makes sense because it's a super tile YBA into the room from a room that's empty. But I guess it depends on what's in the yeah. Wow, it's easy. You can just get that bottle again. Nice. Good thinking. This is one of those that like shows the more than just like memorizing a bunch of glitches. Like understanding how they work is really important if you want to go to the next level at no logic and be able to do stuff like this. Oh, he's gonna get another one. All right, I respect that. Might as well, because every time you succeed, you get your potion back. And JD finds one in Thieves Town. This is excellent because most people will need a bottle to get in here. Because of the big key door, they'll come in from the Uncle Passageway.
How
But now
did JD get into Thieves Town?
Front
Sorry,
door.
I had to step away for a second.
Front door, walked from their link state that they got from the mirror, and used that to open Thieves Town before doing Kakariko checks. And then went back into their portal to do Thieves Town first 4. So they're not going to be able to complete the dungeon unless they do some hook pushing. But it's not easy because there's like a whole bunch of locked doors on the way to the Maiden. The speedrun does it, but most people playing Rando won't do it. Alright, is prdwong really duping 4 bottles? Alright, that's a little excessive. But like, look at all, he's also getting 300 rupees every time, I think. He's getting a lot of money.
I thought it was just 100.
Oh, is it just 100?
But I could be wrong.
It's 300 total then. Or 400 at this point. Moon Pearl.
Moon Pearl is so nice. That's such a great convenience item.
Oh, it's so good.
Doing so many checks just so much easier.
Alright. Head to play for JD, mirroring now to get back to the real Dark World. They could do it at any time, but doing it now means they won't forget later. Because they do have other business to attend to. So, prdwong's probably almost certainly in go mode now. Very little you can't do with this equipment set. JD might need a bottle. Doesn't have the cane. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's really anything stopping JD from doing Meyer. You can do the boss with hook pushing, and you can do the dupe with hook pushing plus 1 bottle to do the wrong warp. Swamp would be a problem if it was a crystal. Turtle Rock is fine because they have hook pushing. What they need, actually... Oh, save and quit, save and quit, save and quit, save and quit. Good. That was a hard lock, if they didn't save and quit. Yeah, they need the boomerang. I didn't think about this, but to do Trinex, they either need to do 2 potion YBAs or a very long hook push. And the way to get a very long hook push is either with the cane or with the blue boomerang or the red boomerang. So either way, I think we're going to be seeing a South Shore check at some point. Alright, prdwong, I'm going soon as just going to start go moding. Probably going to be filling these potions. We'll see what dungeons get done first. Eastern Palace can be done by deleting the door with the cane. It's going to take a couple trips, but it's fairly easy. Or he just pulls out a massive hook push in the front using that cane. We'll see. We'll know about his hook pushing capabilities when he goes to Eastern, because if he can hook push, that's easily the best way to do it.
Is JD gonna try to get this map again, or do you think he'll... Oh, looks like he's gonna go for it.
Yeah, JD got an up teleport, and all they have to do is just not get an up teleport, and they'll be fine.
You make that seem easy, but I guess it is one of the most basic glitches that you learn.
It is, and they're the same everywhere. And JD was probably just like going too fast and not really like checking their cues, which is something that happens when you're like getting good at the game. You just start going faster and start making that kind of mistake more often.
So we did find out that Meyer is a crystal, so to make things easy, we would love to see the ether medallion.
JD would also need to have either Trinex Pendant or Ice Rod to beat the game.
Oh yes, yes.
And that would be an escape play or some other ice rod. There's 2 of them. Oh, prdwong now making his Eastern play. Doesn't know it's a pendant, so he's going to full clear, which is surprising to me. I am actually surprised he's full clearing. He doesn't know that Myers Ether. He does know that he doesn't need Swamp, and Swamp is kind of annoying without flippers.
Maybe they're just hoping for the Moon Pearl and maybe Tempered?
Oh yeah, Tempered would be nice. Yeah, I would do this for swords, but I'm weak.
I've done exactly 1 Master Sword Ganon fight. And it was in the practice hack. And I had to refill my health 3 times. So it's not an easy fight.
No way. I mean, I won a game against prdwong because of the Master Sword Ganon fight in this tournament. So I can attest to that. It's really easy to just run out of magic in phase 4 or take too many hits in phase 1 and 2. Or like take knockback from the spin and fall in a pit.
It takes like 500 million spins, so yeah, I can see why runners would definitely want to do extra checks to find a sword. Will someone teach JD how to do this room, please?
Oh. Oh no. Maybe. I'm not good at it either. I can't, not it. I can't teach anyone this. My way to teach them would be to get the Cane of Samaria from the Ether tablet.
You want to kill the Baris first thing and then get rid of the pot and then move the statue.
That's true. You want to kill the Baris. The Samaria glitch prdwong is doing. You saw prdwong knock on the door, right?
I didn't, but
we were watching JD's statue, Mummy's statue, because you're an NMG runner, and that's what you look at.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's okay. NMG is important too. prdwong is fine. So he did it correctly. Set up the timer to not run for 18 minutes. Very good. We've already seen that happen once this tournament.
That was Doom Tap, wasn't it?
Foxlisk.
Oh, Fox did it.
Fox did it. All bosses no EG, former world record holder. Anybody can make mistakes.
I should not be so snarky. There's no way I could do any of this, so...
Oh, I can make these jokes because I have made every one of these mistakes myself. It's like a badge of honor. If you haven't done that mistake yet, you haven't been playing enough No Logic. prdwong did close that chest, but doesn't need what's inside. The Cane of Samaria glitch has some effects, and that's one of them. Also opened this door, which is the main effect that prdwong was going for. Now he doesn't need the big key, because this is the only big key door in the back of Eastern.
JD took it a little bit safe before falling into the moth hole. Moth hole, that sounds funny.
Yeah. You moth hole.
To wait for the Wallmaster to start coming down before dropping in the hole. Because if you don't, and the timing is just right, and the hand tries to come down and grab you as you're falling, it will actually still grab you, and you have to go all the way back to the front and do it all over again.
Wallmasters and enemies do not respect pits. And if Swamp weren't independent, we would be seeing that taken advantage of. But we won't be seeing too much pit-related glitches today, so outside of Wrong Works. And prdwong finds his disappointment in Eastern Palace, the red pendant. Now remember this, JD took maybe 20 seconds to get the map of Eastern Palace off of Hylia Island. prdwong just spent 2 minutes in this dungeon. So that saved JD a significant amount of time. Even though they did do the dungeon and get some items, they were really doing it to get to Meyer, and that ended up being a really good play for them. prdwong is actually triple dipping this dungeon to do this. So they did that whole extra double dip to do Eastern, and now they have to go back again to do the Meyer trip.
Just to find out that Meyer is locked by the ether medallion, which they have not found yet.
Yeah, and that's annoying because you have 2 medallions. It's very reasonable, and it's like meta. It's the meta play to expect that it's probably that medallion. It's a little less so in No Logic. The rationale in No Glitches is the game gave me these medallions for a reason, and the other one's probably just sitting in GT. Obviously, that doesn't apply when there's no reasons for any item to be anywhere. Oh, prdwong's angry. It's okay, you have 4 bottles. That's all you need. Also, it doesn't have any light world maps. So, I wonder if prdwong was checking the desert map there, because he can do desert now. Sitkid has the Ice Palace big key. Probably not important. We've pretty much seen most things. Like, Ether is the one thing that's still missing that would benefit the runners that we haven't already seen.
Alright, what's JD gonna do now? Oh, they could, now that they have the Moon Pearl, they can clear up all of these checks. So maybe this is Hype Cave?
They have not returned to Hype Cave, that is correct. They could also go to Ice Palace and do some glitchy Ice Palace stuff to clear that dungeon.
They could also check Bomb Vendor to get another crystal information, because I don't think we've seen the other red crystal, although it being red doesn't really matter, because as we've seen on prdwong's side, you can just mirror clip into there, or JD could swimmy clip into there.
JD actually has the maps of both red crystals. They were Skullwoods and Meyer. So talking to the bottle merchant or the bomb merchant wouldn't do anything for them. That map at Thieves Town will, though, because that's one of the dungeons they don't know.
One nice thing about doing Ice Palace in Cave State is there's no ice physics because it's all carpet.
It's all carpet. One bad thing, though, is if you go deeper in, the fire bars move at full speed and the ice becomes ice again. So,
and full speed fire bars in Ice Palace is terrifying.
Oh no, JD. You have the crystal info already. I saw this on their map check, the 2 red crystals, but nobody pays attention to red crystals in No Logic because there's literally no reason to escort the big bomb. Because JD's about to show us that you don't need the mirror to get into Pyramid Fairy or the red bomb.
Isn't this a funny auto walk thing?
This is a variant of the one in the speedrun that gets you to Eastern very early. This will bypass the hammer pigs. They need to go a little deeper. I wouldn't be doing that. prdwong in Ice Palace has everything he needs to do it. Doesn't need to use any glitches. The clock is really ticking for JD, because despite having what seemed like an early lead, JD is actually not in go mode and prdwong is, and that's making a huge difference.
Okay, here's the swimmy clip that I was talking about. They're gonna fake flipper. They're gonna go straight up. Or not, almost straight up. And then they're going to, like, I can't even remember how to describe it. But they get to swim through the pyramid now.
Okay, here's how I hear it described to people who play fighting games. It's a half circle back against the slope, and then you swim in the opposite direction. prdwong found Tempered Sword here, so no sword advantage for JD anymore. JD has to get a Moon Pearl Water Walk in here, so there's a dash turn to get back in. And nothing inside. But if they use their mirror here, they might get their Ice Rod. And might be in go mode. Yeah, that's what we're seeing.
This is a very, very good thing for him to be doing.
I don't think we saw this from prdwong, the back of the Gaga Tower.
No, we didn't.
But again,
one check because he only has the one key.
Yeah, from our perspective, checks are all really bad unless they're the ones we've seen, because we've seen most of the good items. It's ether in a huge search space. But JD doesn't know what we've seen, so they're doing the checks that are here, which makes sense to do. I wish JD had shown us what was the map of thieves.
They can just go back in that portal, can't they?
They can. The question is, what would be their plan to do with that portal?
Catfish, of course.
Catfish.
Everybody's favorite check.
I've like never seen catfish in a no logic race. I think if you do catfish, you're taking it from Hookshot Cave. You're not doing it from here.
Isn't there a Death Mountain ascent from Catfish?
There is. You can actually swim there. It's kind of neat.
Isn't it dangerous though?
The one that's the one you're thinking of, like the complicated one. I think it is. I don't know how to do it. I'm usually going down to catfish, not up. prdwong has how many dungeons left? Desert, Thieves Town, Mire, and TR, and one of them's a pendant, so we don't know which. Oh, and Skull. But prdwong is also like really starved of pendant info. Even more so than JD. Because JD at least has the map of thieves. prdwong is about to find out the Crystal of Thieves, or the pendant, just by getting it. Alright, let's see if JD's behavior changes after Ice Rod. Are we go-moding? Oh, Thieves is a crystal.
So that means either Desert or Turtle Rock is the other pendant, right?
Yes. And that's the other one. I guess prdwong might not have that Mire info either. Which is a big deal when you know that it's going to be a very long process to get the crystal off of. I don't think JD has the right potion to do... Okay, the red boom is go mode, I think, for JD. I really hope this is another boomerang go mode. This is like the second boomerang go mode I've seen in 2 days.
PRD has desynced the sprites? Is that correct?
Not with the YBA. That happens when you're doing the jukes. So everything here can still hurt him.
Sorry, I thought I saw him walk through one of the red Zazaks.
That's interesting. That might have just been like luck. The fact that he's synced though is allowing him to do this route where he does blind while still in the cave, which checks time to be slightly faster than doing it separately.
You just have to... You have to do what? LSD blind?
Yeah.
To make sure you can leave to reset the dungeon ID?
Yeah, it's a glitch that's... it's technically a transition corruption, but like... Or like sub-mode corruption. Kind of in the same class as no logic glitches, but no glitches players allow it because it's not really useful. Except when you're playing no logic, which is kind of funny. But we just use it to keep the door open. Interrupt that shutter door closing.
And it's just a matter of, what, pushing select on the... at the correct time?
Yeah, it's loose too. It's not even like... It's not even like hard timing. You just walk up, and as soon as you see Link inside of the light square, you can press select. The bottle does not show pain. I didn't even think about the fact that prdwong is a bottle in this seed. I guess it's a green potion, not relish.
JD is trying to figure out where to go next. The problem with having so many items is it can sometimes... Is this mini Moldorm Cave?
Yeah, we might be seeing King of Samaria for JD. But prdwong is moving through dungeons so fast that I don't know if this will be enough. prdwong's bottle dupe has really given him a boost. I don't think 4 were necessary. I think 4 is just a meme, but
It was a fun meme.
It was a fun meme. I think like 3 is a reasonable amount. But most of the glitches won't require more than 2, and then having an extra one in your pocket is really nice. Another reason to get 4 is if you fail the Trinix double YBA at the second part, you can try again. But if you have 3, you can't try again. They'll only have 1 bottle.
So we're just on an ether hunt to make this an easier seed. Like, we have everything that we need to do the dungeon ID change. It's just such a pain that a lot of runners don't want to do it, or maybe they don't know how to do it.
prdwong definitely does, but I think when he was playing against me, he was having trouble with Swamp because he didn't have Cane and maybe didn't know the bottled version. If I'm remembering right, I watched so many races that could easily just been someone else, but I'm pretty sure the Cane version won't stop him at all. JD will maybe be getting the book. But the question is, will that translate to actually getting the cane?
All we can do is just wait. I mean, setting up the water walk, it seems like it could be a Zora play. Or it should be a Zora play. I can't imagine where else you'd take this water walk.
Oh, absolutely. If you're not saving quitting out of Ice Rod Cave, you are going to Zora and Waterfall. So and then another question again is like, oh my god, that's not what we're doing. We're doing bomb upgrade. Okay. Bomb upgrade makes sense too. So this is going to be a caneless seed for JD, which is fine. I don't think they need it. I think they have plenty of hook pushing.
prdwong is gonna get their Moon Pearl here.
Yeah,
is it prdwong or prdwong? I'm sorry.
I have no idea. All I know is that he used to release a batch of like glitch tutorial videos back in the day titled pretty wrong. I don't know if that's actually how you're supposed to pronounce the name.
Okay, JD, where are we going now?
I would argue that whether you say prdwong or prdwong depends more on your accent than anything else. JD might be going to Desert Palace. JD can do back of desert with a hook push. Doesn't need the big key at all.
I think they have the big key.
Oh.
At least somebody, I swear I've saw somebody pick it up today.
Oh, good eye. I guess we'll find out.
I don't know, a lot of players just do the hook push anyway, whether they have the
optimal.
big key or not.
Yeah, it's optimal. Actually, like if you're fast enough with the hook push, moving the wall is really slow, so you'll just not do that, but you do have to be pretty fast. You don't need to sewer door delete when you have hook pushing. I'm interested to know how you can do it with one, though. One bottle. Maybe prdwong will sewer door delete. Oh, JD is going to mirror door this. Or YBA, I didn't realize they had a green. I thought they had a blue. Oh yeah, they do this.
Which one makes the graphics better?
The green. The red one is the one that will make a fade out transition. And will make your graphics corrupt. JD is using a version of this that is a little safer, but also harder to do. But what makes it safer is that if you fail, you just transition. You don't drink the potion. Whereas using this bomb snap method, you will actually have to hit 2 buttons at the same time.
Hitting 2 buttons at the same time is impossible.
I'm a little sad they're not hook pushing up at Landmo though, because I know they're capable of it. It's exactly the same hook push that they did twice already. But that's fine because this worked too.
Why are we doing Ice Rod?
I don't know. That's a good question. I tried so hard.
The timing
Yo,
on
that double spin!
That was sick!
That was freaking sick.
Okay, you can use Ice Rod now.
Leave. Oh, yeah, I guess they don't need to. Normally, like, you want to, like, mirror out when it's a pendant so that you can use that pendant to work out of desert state bosses when you're doing other bosses, but normally that's just Argus, and we're not doing Argus in this seed. But that is what JD was thinking. He's like, oh no, I have to mirror out now because I'm not getting this one. It's unfortunate, but I mean, we got a blind pendant from prdwong and a blind pendant from JD. And given that neither of them has the map, they might just be blind for PRD as well. Alright, what's JD's next dungeon?
I don't know.
Normally you do Turtle Rock last, but it's a little different when you don't have the cane. Turtle Rock last doesn't have the same benefit when you can't do the quadrant glitch out of the front. But we also might just be seeing checks. We might be seeing Hookshot Cave, Catfish, etc.
Yeah, we already saw Super Bunny. That's where the other sword is.
Yeah. So JD's Tempered is actually not the same as PRD's Tempered. They got Ice Palace and East Death Mountain. JD is going to back of TR. Maybe we might be seeing the Boomerang Stuck Push that makes you go really high. And they have plenty of resources for it. Nice half magic and tempered sword will make the fight nice and comfy as well. So as long as they can pull off the push, which I don't doubt, we'll be seeing Trinex very soon.
Do you think prdwong is following in his footsteps to come here?
Yeah, I think what prdwong is trying to do is get the pendant info by doing the dungeons that are quick. And because prdwong can just go to Trinex without glitches, this is a very reasonable thing to do. Oh, look at this like old school setup he's doing. Let's go. It's a really good backup for when you like either coming from the other side of the mountain or you like miss the inputs for the mountain climb. So prdwong doing a couple more checks for Ether. JD about to set up this hook push on these pots. This is going to be another stored hook shot, but this time they're going to change the direction of the hook shot. By throwing a boomerang diagonally up left. And then overloading a hook shot and going up. Beautiful. That's like barely slower than just riding the platform. In fact, if you're fast enough, you might actually be able to outrun the platform. Very nice. JD is still at a bit of a disadvantage, having no hammer, no cane. But I don't think that's going to stop them. They do have to do a YBA to do Ice Palace to get to the boss. They're going to have to do the YBA to get to the back of Thieves Town, same one prdwong did. A bit of a gut punch for JD. That's actually going to be really good for prdwong, is the Desert Palace map on Trinex.
Ooh. That's a rough one for JD.
So, prdwong gets to skip Desert Palace, which is huge. Huge time save. I think, by the way, I want to point out that even though looks like a lead for prdwong, this also looks like JD is on a pace to beat their best time by a lot. If they can pull off what I'm seeing ahead. Because we're only at 113, and they only have 3 dungeons left. But Misery Mire is a doozy, so we'll see how long that takes.
Thieves Town is a cakewalk at this point, especially since JD has cleared out the front half. They just need to get back in there and open up the doors.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing JD did is that mirror door, or not mirror door, the hook push into the attic from Desert, bombed the attic and got the set up so that they can just turn in blind and fight straight out of the YBA instead of having to go all the way around.
Okay, that will save a bit of time.
Yeah.
This is our first hookshot cave check. Doesn't look like there's anything in there.
prdwong really doesn't want to do Medallionless Mire, which is fair. He will get his butter sword in Hookshot Cave, so no Master Sword Ganon trials. Don't even have to worry about missing 1 and 1.
Everybody loves buttered pickles. Because, you know, there's such a thing as butter pickles.
Buttered pickles.
Butter pickles.
I was like,
okay.
No, I was like wondering if that's like a food that's regional that I don't know about.
I don't know if it's regional or not. I just know that there's such a thing as bread and butter pickles.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. It must be like a, just, I don't know, the regional thing. Or I'm just naive and sheltered.
We don't often see, excuse me, Mimic Cave.
No.
Wasn't anything tonight, but we don't
That's a big check to do for being in go mode. It's gonna give precious time back to JD for this race. Okay, so JD. Oh, this is gonna be so nice just being able to do this. Getting to walk the maiden straight to the boss room feels so good. Oh my goodness, he got ether.
No. That could be really bad for JD.
JD's not getting that. prdwong saves a lot of time. But also, prdwong did do a lot of checks. The Medallionless Mire is slow, but like, I don't know, it's not that slow. It's gonna be slow for sure if prdwong has to do the bottle like sewer door delete, or the Cane of Samari one, I guess. JD doesn't need to do that because of pushing. And JD lacking Cane already has to do some backflips to get to Vitreous itself, so that's also, like, the ether does more for purity than it would have done for JD.
I think it's a fairly smart thing for prdwong to be doing this Aga fight now. Coming back to Turtle Rock is kind of slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you've already done Trinex, there isn't really any reason to save this for last unless you're missing the Moon Pearl. So now JD has to come back to get the crystal, but that's just a quick jog through Thieves Town. It's not going to be too hard. Oh,
Except for all the lag.
Oh my god, those bunny beams. Like, every second those bunny beams are on screen, it's just so awful. To the point where you're probably better off just eating the bunny beam and walking. Okay, prdwong is taking an overworld route to Mire.
I thought this was hammer pegs.
Yeah, but prdwong doesn't need anything. Like, look at his inventory. He's done. Yeah. He doesn't need anything. Yeah, it's a cool little clip there. It's legal in Randomizer, but not really useful outside of glitch modes and occasionally cross keys. But you see it a lot in glitch modes because it is nice to be able to continue a route from swimming to hammer pegs. to Village of Outcasts. prdwong just has to do Mire, and this is going to be fairly NMG for him. He has the big key and the cane. JD has no cane and no medallion.
And he still needs to do Ice Palace
Yeah.
as well, so.
But again, I want to point out that this pace that JD is on is like really good for their, like really good. Like this is probably going to be their best time by several minutes or more.
Yeah, I don't think JD has made any like real big mistakes or anything.
No, this has been a really good game for them, and I think it's mostly just circumstance. And maybe like slightly better like room-to-room execution that prdwong is ahead. And prdwong's decision to look for ether, whereas JD found boomerang, and I think that was go mode. Remind me to ask what JD's go mode was, because I think it was the boomerang.
I think so too, but I could be wrong. I don't know as much as these runners do for sure, so. But yeah, that'll be a good question to ask them.
I didn't know what JD's plan for Trinex would have been without the boomerang. That's why I'm thinking that was go mode. And they're also go moding a lot more than they were.
prdwong found the flippers, which are absolutely useless in this particular seed.
Something to feed the tracker. All the interesting stuff happened at the beginning, so we got to keep the tracker from going hungry. JD is now taking a backdoor into Ice Palace. This is pretty fast. Probably faster than going through mirror wrapping in the overworld. Mirror wrapping would be maybe faster if we had like the hammer, but we don't. But you know the drill. This is just another stored hook shot. And it's almost self-explanatory what's going on here. Not really what's causing the hook shot to get stuck, but the fact that you're releasing that stored hook shot. It's just making you go that direction for that distance, but from a different start point.
Yeah, meanwhile, prdwong is here in Vidi. He's got silver, so it's an even easier fight than NMG. So, I don't know.
Oops.
He's in Myers state, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, this is like NMG Mire. Like, he just walked in and did Vidi.
So he doesn't have to worry about crystal duping or anything. So
nope.
he's needs
done.
to run up to Ganon and have an easy fight.
He's a really good time for prdwong as well. It's going to be sub 130, which is what you want to see in a no logic. But no logic can sometimes just like hand you an awful seed, and there's nothing you can really do to speed it up. So now JD is in proper Ice Palace state. And then they're going to have to tackle Misery Mire, which is going to be pretty involved. But what's nice about that is we'll have plenty of time to explain what's going on.
You mean you'll have time to explain what's going on, because I'm going to be lost.
Oh no, there's going to be a quiz at the end. I'm going to make you explain it. No, it's fine. Most of us just gloss over this part anyway. This is the part that nobody wants to explain. What is dungeon ID swapping? So dungeon ID swapping is a way to get the prize of a dungeon without going through its front door. There is a special door inside of Hyrule Castle, the one where you use Zelda to push the mantle. That door will change your dungeon ID from Hyrule Castle to sewers, and it's really just like a toggle. So if you're in a different dungeon, it will toggle to its pair. And every dungeon has a pair. And the pair of pod is Misery Mire. So you can start in pod and walk through that door and be in Misery Mire and then get the crystal.
Clear as mud.
Clear as mud. It'll be even make even less sense when you see it, but that's okay. JD also gets their sword. They are doing a little bit of clearing here because ether would make their life a lot easier. prdwong has really nothing to lose on Ganon here except maybe a fall. So this should be a pretty quick fight for him.
Why does the relish bottle have a halo?
It's the onion ring. That is GG to prdwong. JD probably just putting their GGs in chat. JD really likes to finish seeds because they are mostly just playing this for fun. And also, I think they should finish this one because it's a really good run from them and good showcase of their skills. GG prdwong.
Yes, GG's.
Nice seed, nice ether medallion.
Yeah, I was already in the mode where I was like, I don't really want to do any more checks, but I'll check anything that's nearby. And it just happened to show up at the last check that I would have done before trying to do the sewer door.
Saved a lot of time. I didn't even realize you were doing like Aga 2 there. But now it makes sense that you were doing those checks.
It's one of those few seeds where I didn't feel like I was completely messing up the whole thing.
No, you both played really well. I was wondering, like, have you learned hook pushing yet?
Kinda, but I will usually use other methods if I can get around it.
Because I was wondering, like, how you're feeling when you go into a seed against someone you know can hook push, and the first thing you find is like 5 items you need to hook push. And then you find the cane, which actually JD didn't get because JD never did the Zora ledge. But they don't need it. Like, they've been stuck pushing their way through so many things, and also using these YBAs with a single bottle. Let's talk about that bottle of yours, prdwong. I'm looking at it, and I think I have blurry vision, but it actually kind of looks like 4 bottles.
Yeah. Was there one at the front of Thieves Town as well? I picked up a green 20 there.
Yeah, that's JD's bottle. It had a blue potion in it.
Yeah, that was my other thing that I thought I might do, is to mirror door into Thieves Town instead of doing GT, but GT worked out for me.
JD actually did a hook push into the attic. Had it that early, was able to do it out of a Dark World check. I would look into those, like the ones from Desert, let you do the attic. Makes the rest of Thieves Town so much nicer.
Yeah, it's just, I don't have the time to put into all this stuff. We should have had this tournament like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, before I learned. I would have run it. How many people? Like 5 people in it?
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago it was like just Chex and Spleeby racing each other. And then there were a few people who'd come out for like the occasional race. But I love to see all the people come out for the tournaments, even people who aren't playing in all the weeklies and stuff.
Yeah, it's great to see all the new players, and that they all have stuff to teach me now because I'm just so lazy. I don't learn any of the new tech.
Yeah, New Blood is really good for the glitch community. Like, it's really keeping it alive.
Yep. But the seed is still completable without all this new stuff, so...
It's true.
I personally enjoyed the duping of the 4 bottles.
It was fun, yeah. I never would have thought of that. And when you did it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. You can just YBA there. It's a super tile door, of course. And there's nothing in the room below. But I wouldn't have thought of that because I can't think for myself. I learned by watching other people. And it's good to have people bring the wisdom of the past into modern racing.
You can see how we used to do things like before Citrus and all that stuff.
Back in my day, we used to have to double North Samaria and do 2 YBAs left to do sewer door deletion. They used to have to walk around the sewer door. There wasn't a deletion. Like,
yeah.
It was bad. It was bad.
That was right around the time that I was learning, so I never actually had to go through the entire process. Yeah.
I bet you looked even harder for the medallions in those games.
Yeah, no, but I remember I had a seed a few months ago where it was either a bottle or a sword in the DM room, and I was like, yeah, I'll come back and dupe it. And then what I did though was I opened that fire bar chest.
Oh, of course.
And that was the one chest that would that I needed to refill that DM room. So I was like, oops.
Oh yeah. There's a version of the PG map that has the numbers and.
Yeah.
But I like your quick thought of let's dupe this now before I can't anymore.
Yeah, that's why this time I was like, we'll just do it now. I think in the other case, it didn't give me a free red or blue, so that's why I put it off. But yeah, this time I was like, this was the one thing I was looking for, a bottle to kind of even the playing field after all that hook pushing stuff. So let's just go crazy.
Yeah.
And it was so kind of it to come pre-filled with a red potion for you.
Exactly. Like if it hadn't, then I might have just gotten 2 and then just left it at that. Most of the item placements seem to work out for me. Even finding Pearl along the way. So.
I have another question for you. 2 actually. What is the correct pronunciation of your name?
Prdwong is fine, yeah.
Oh, like Purdy, not like PRD.
Yeah, I see a lot of people like to just do each letter individually, but I think it's a lot easier just to smush them all together.
I gotta bring out my best Texas accent from my grandma. Like, Prdwong, Prdwong.
Okay, and the second question is, what is the red mail sprite?
Yeah, we've been wanting to know this. Because we thought it was mustard, and then you went to the Dark World and were mustard as a bunny. And we're like, okay, then what's the red meal?
I have no idea.
It's only one way.
Maybe?
Yeah, that's a twin set. I thought relish would be like the level 3 condiment.
That's what I thought. I was thinking relish would be level 2 when I first started.
But JD has to push past these pigs because they either went the wrong way or they spent the key. They're like the one free key you get in Eastern State. But that's okay because they can just do it again. A1 sauce. Yeah, that's a good option.
A1 sauce sounds familiar, like I might have had this sprite before, and maybe that is red mail.
Oh, I thought you were saying like you've eaten it before, and I'm like, yeah, it's A1 sauce. Everyone has. It's in every diner. Very nicely done. There's going to be one more of these in the back, and they have 2 bombs, or 4 bombs. So, yeah, this is why we buy upgrades.
It's got to be difficult to set these up with these Medusa fireball shooter things.
Oh, it's so obnoxious. No, the good thing is you spend so much time with the pause menu that they don't actually have that much time to harass you. That was really smooth. Holy cow. I tell you that when I do those, I stand around forever, and I end up having to place new bombs because I'm too slow. What JD did there was setting up the second part fast enough that they could still use the first bombs to overload the hook shot. And that saves a lot of ammo, which means that if they fail, they could actually try again. Yeah, that was textbook. That was really good. They still have to do the dupe, of course. Yeah, that's the curse. The Meyer Big Key is either really good or you literally cannot use it.
So they just picked up the Eastern pendant because they came from Eastern, right?
Yeah, which would be cool if like it mattered. Like sometimes you want to get warped to the front. Like in Swamp, you want to get warped to the front so you can go back in and dupe, right? But going back in and dupe Meyer would require a medallion, so JD isn't doing that. Duping Meyer, you don't even set foot in Meyer, you just do pod. I think, yeah, this is going to be a bomb shopping. It's always a good idea. You don't want to start anything on 2 bombs. You're not going to have a good time. And then the red potion, which is probably for Aghanim. They're gonna
That
need it.
shop owner just had the best sale day of his life.
Oh, look, we're going back in. We love their service. We gave them a 5-star review. Love the bomb so much I came back for more. Yeah, we even bought the heart. I always like to think of the heart as like the shop owner has their kid with them, and they're like, "Oh, kid, you can sell something too. Here's a heart."
That's so cute.
Okay, JD will be starting the process of going through Pod and transmuting Pod into Misery Mire by walking through a door. And there's going to be some glitches involved. Because obviously you can't just like go to Pod and you're suddenly in the sewers. Like you have to do some stuff to get there.
Did you get information that Eastern was pendant somewhere?
Yeah, actually it was your first check. Or second check that you didn't get it. The Hylia Island map was the Eastern map. But that's okay because JD did Desert Blind and you got the map from Trinix. So you're even. Okay, so the first step, go to Pod. Actually be in Pod, that's really important. Where are we going? Oh, we're doing checks, okay. Didn't realize we hadn't done this yet. Oh, we're getting arrows. Oh, yeah, I guess you need those. Ether was in Crystal Roller Room. prdwong got it on the way to Agatu. But JD did not route that way and was considering themselves to be in go mode enough to not do extra checks.
Don't you need the red cane for Crystal Roller Room?
Not if you're coming through the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, think about the path you take in NMG from double pokies to Crystal Roller. There's no Samaria use there.
Yeah. I have NMG brain.
Yeah,
so
it's hard. I had to think about it too. Because I have RMG brain and you do use the Samaria to get to Crystal Roller Room. You come from backwards. Okay, so that was a wrong warp that JD just did. Changing that pit from a damaging pit to a warp pit changed the destination. Well, it didn't change the destination. The destination was always there, but it allows you to actually use it. And that gets us into Hera. And from Hera we can clip to sewers.
Yeah, by the time I got to Skull Woods, I was like, well, there's a 1 in 3 chance now that Mire is actually a pendant and I don't have to do any of this, so let's just be a little bit more aggressive with skipping checks.
JD wants to set this hook shot to go down this time. Pretty much all of their hook pushes have been going up, but this one's down. Yeah, that distance is enough that you actually would have to is it okay to be like on the door like that? I guess we'll find out. Oh, what happened there? Was it the item? Did the item stop the hookshot from overloading? I'm not sure what went wrong there. Yeah, it's possible to just be too slow to overload. The ancilla that they're putting out are very short-lived, so you have to be quite quick on them. You can make it easier by like, oh yeah, good arrows, by using like boots dust instead of lamps, or the boomerang. But the boomerang has problems because it'll make you go other directions. And oh, never mind, the mantle's not moved. It's moved, so you can go wherever you want. I guess you can't go on the right side. So now we're going to go up, and that's going to take us back to Hera. I mean, the same thing that got us down here is going to get us back up. It's just a different method. Yeah, very important to be hugging this wall, because you don't want to get stuck in the wall above you. That was really good. Really well done. And now all we have to do is hair a pot to get back up. So when JD walked through that door, the special door, you may have seen the compass counter change. I don't know what it was before, but now it's a 0 out of 8, and that's the Mire compass. So we're actually in Mire.
That was a really nice set of hook pushes from
Yeah,
my
that was-
inexperienced eye.
No, that was really good. I'm still super impressed with the Mire ones, like the two, not having to redo the bombs. That's a sign that you've practiced this a lot.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how much consumables I would go through if I were to start trying this.
Yeah, you could imagine that JD bought the bomb refill twice for coming in here. I think came in with 15 and now has 9. So they wouldn't have run out, but it is good to have that safety there. If JD does need another bottle, it's just kind of an advantage of having more than one bottle. If they had more than one, they would have been able to go straight to Agatu from there. But now they have to make this shopping trip.
So what's the fastest way to Agatu for JD?
Technically it's a hook push that I think literally I've only ever seen Krithel do it. I don't know if JD knows how to do it, and it's kind of tight. JD will probably YBA, because if they were going to hook push, they would have just done that and not bought the potion. So it's going to be the same thing prdwong did. The thing with the Turtle Rock lava is it's already a warp pit. You don't need to do anything special to it, but you do have to get to it. So anything that gets you into that lava is going to work. And you can just hook push to it from double pokies. I'm Sleepy, I agree. The answer is you only clip with the sprite and you don't learn the other clips. The question is, how the heck do they play with Link in the speedrun? Because that's a completely different set of cues. Checks, I don't want to know what that is. Pipe clip hover. You keep that bad energy out of my commentary. So we're going to be doing this YBA here. Nicely done.
We even got a Clipe. Nice.
Ah, nicely done. And I don't expect any problems on Ganon. JD, before they were doing no logic, was running any percent RMG that does this fight on 5 hearts. So I don't expect this to be a problem. They are missing silvers because they never visited. That was a waterfall fairy that had them.
No, I thought they checked Waterfall Fairy.
JD did not go to Zora Ledge in
Oh, that's
Waterfall.
right, they didn't.
Yeah,
we were
so
expecting them to, and they didn't.
We all just kind of assumed. But then they just found everything at once and didn't need to. Nice dodges. Here's the light world. JD has been known to just do Silverless Cannon for fun when they're not racing or already lost. So I think even with Silvers, we would have seen this fight the same way.
To be honest, Silverless Ganon is actually pretty fun once you get to this phase.
Yeah, it's
first-
relaxing.
The first two phases are stressful as all get out, especially when you're got a timer running and everything, but the phase 4 is really fun.
Phase 4 is one of those, like, you can set it to some music and be like, 10 hours of Silverless Ganon to study, relax to.
Lo-fi Ganon fights? What?
Well, okay. That one's a little dangerous because if you're not used to the fact that your Fire Rod can't actually go through Ganon once he's solid, it's easy to just, like, expect Ganon to freeze and he doesn't. Here we go. The low percent Ganon fights. There we go. And that is an incredible time for JD. Sub 2, which I think maybe they've done that once before. But I don't know if they've done one sub 150 before. It's a good seed. Good run. And pretty much, like, no mistakes. Just very well played all around.
We were gonna ask him something.
Was Boomerang Go mode?
Oh, that's right. They were gonna ask the Go mode.
GG.
Thanks for the GG.
Was that your fastest time?
Yeah, actually it was. I thought I was doing pretty good, and then I saw that my opponent had finished, and I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up, like, with somebody who's been playing for 4 years, but, like,
No, I figured.
you've only been playing for 1 month, and to pull off a sub 2 hour and no logic after only 1 month of playing it is pretty impressive.
And some of those hook pushes were really, really nicely executed.
And a lot of the differences was just routing was a little different. Like, PRD went to GT and found a bottle and duped it up to 4. Found the Cane of Samaria, had just a slightly better equipment advantage. Actually found Ether as well at the very last second inside of Turtle Rock, but it's not something you were ever going to find because you were in Go mode, and rightfully so. You didn't need that Ether.
Yeah, I wish I had realized sooner that I forgot that because of hook pushing and not deleting the door and all that. It is way faster to dupe the Meyer crystal. I wasn't thinking about that. So I did a lot of extra checks because I was like, only one bottle. I don't know how this is going to work. And I don't know, Samaria is like by far my favorite item. So it just feels weird to finish a seed without that, even though you have to sometimes. It's just so helpful, like most of the time. I mean, but so I probably made a lot of extra checks I didn't need to, that I didn't realize that at the time. Could have made it closer, but I'm not used to racing, and it's hard to keep all that in your head when you're like trying not to like die and you're trying to like execute correctly and all that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No matter how easy these runners make it look, like no logic is hard because you're working all parts of your brain. You never get to just autopilot anything. You're always thinking about your next play, and not just to know where will I go next, but how am I going to do it? How am I going to untie this knot? We were wondering if Boomerang was your go mode.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to. I'm sorry.
I didn't know like what your Trinex plan was without Boomerang. I thought maybe you were going to need a second bottle.
Samaria. I know the Samaria hook push to Trinex as well, where you take the block with you. I've done that a few times before, but so that would have done it too. But yeah, I found both boomerangs around the same time. I don't remember exactly where they were, but I thought that was convenient because I wanted to knock out Desert and TR because I didn't know what the pendants and crystals were. And so I was, of course, disappointed that Desert was a pendant. I thought about just leaving without it, and then I was like, "What if I want the pendant?" Which is silly. You don't need the pendant. Like, no one's gonna pull Ped probably.
It's actually usually more valuable leaving the pendant on the boss in no logic because you can use it to warp. And I thought that's actually what you were like, "Oh shoot, I need to leave this on the ground," and then realizing Swamp's a pendant too, and you don't really need to do that. Getting the pendant's fine. It gets you a refill. So you have full magic for your next play. Just a few seconds.
Magic routing. Sorry, I was just saying magic routing is a big thing. It can be really inconvenient to have to refill somewhere depending on your enemy prize packs.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot to be proud of in that. But is there anything in particular that stands out to you?
I don't know, I thought my routing was like pretty decent, like for me. I don't know, it's kind of just a blur because I was like trying to hurry, but I thought I was being like fairly efficient, like at least like for me, maybe not overall, but like I feel like I played like somewhat close to my potential, maybe not my best, but better than usual because I'm not used to having a bunch of people watch me play a video game, which maybe is kind of silly, but it does affect your performance, obviously.
Yeah, I think that's something we forget when we've been in the racing scene for a long time, that like most people are used to playing a video game with like maybe 1 or 2 people on the couch with them watching, and not 200 people on SpeedGaming. I forget like that's a thing. Is stage fright is a thing. People are watching you. People are, questioning what you're doing and saying things. People might be saying like praise too. Like people were saying like you were really good. I have no clue how did people get this good. So like, and like knowing that people are looking at you like that is also hard to wrap your head around.
Well, that's very kind of anyone that said that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would recommend watching this back too. Like, evaluate your play. Evaluate what prdwong did. I know a lot of it was just equipment difference and slightly more experienced at room-to-room execution, but like, learning from your best play is also valuable, as well as learning from your like mistakes, because it's good to kind of know like what you're capable of.
Yeah, definitely. I have watched back all my races so far, even though some of them were like painful to see the mistakes again and how good the other person is, but like the commentary and everything, there's always something to learn, and like I do place a high value in that because there's there's so much to keep in your head when you're playing the rando, like of any mode, of any game. There's so much to think about. It's hard to know like the best way to tackle every situation.
For sure. So, any thoughts from you or prdwong before we wrap this up?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it was a
Just-
fun seed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and you know, I routinely, you know, get above 2 hours on some of these no logic seeds, so it's, you know, it happens. We'll have to see what happens in the rest of the match, but thanks everyone for doing the tracking and commentary.
Yeah, coming up on
GG.
SpeedGaming for tonight, there will be some more no logic, but not until at least Tuesday, unless more get put on the board. Otherwise, we'll put up the SpeedGaming schedule so you can see what else is in play for tomorrow. Make sure to follow all the SpeedGaming channels as well as these runners, JDSilvergun and prdwong, and my co-commentator Twin, and our tracker other Tom. And that will be all. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.